and welcome to the first tutorial for the Harvest cardigan by Tincan Knits. And if you have not already watched the preparation video, please go and watch that one first. I should link it below, and that's where there's a link to the Tincan Knits website so you can get the pattern and also some hints and talking about what we're going to be doing so you'll be better prepared. But if you've watched that video already, welcome. You should have all the things you need, and I hope you're excited to start. I'm excited. I always love a new start. I hope you have some lovely yarn to work with, and we're going to make a fantastic cardigan together. So first of all, we're going to do a provisional cast on using a crochet hook. So you're going to need a hook. We're going to be using the biggest size, so you're going to need about a 5, so between a 5.5, 4.5, 5.5 crochet hook, whatever you've got available that will be suitable for the yarn. We also need yarn of a similar weight, so you need some Aran worsted weight yarn of a different colour so you can see it nicely, because we're going to pull this out, so you need to know that you're pulling out the right piece because this is only temporary. So if you're not a crocheter, that's good, because it doesn't matter how uneven your stitches are, it's all going to go anyway, so don't worry about that. So first of all, we need to make a slip knot. So the easiest way I find for a slip knot is to cross over, put your fingers through that hole, and then take hold of the yarn that's on your ball and just pull, and that's your slip knot. And then you can just put your hook in, take the other side and just slide it up. So we have our hook with our slip knot. So now we need our larger size, so a size 5mm for me because I got gauge. So using that, got quite a long tail on this, taking hold of my yarn. So you're going to have your crochet hook in your right hand and your needle in your left hand. And then this is quite tricky to get going. To be honest, I've only just learnt this. I've never come across this before. So I've learnt it especially for this video. So what we're going to do is, you have your yarn at the back of the needle, and you have your crochet hook comes over the top of the needle, and all you're going to do is hook that yarn, turn your crochet hook down to come through the hole, and then you've created your first stitch. So then you need to put that yarn at the back of the needle again, and we're going to repeat. So across, hook the yarn through, then take that yarn behind. Now I've got to do 16 of these, unfortunately, but they are easy once you get going, I assure you. So check how many you need to do on your size. So we're going to go across the top of the needle, hook that yarn, pull it through, and then take that yarn back over to the other side of the needle. So you need to keep a little bit of tension, so if you have it round your finger, you can just keep a bit of tension there. So over the cross, the top of the needle, hook it, turn the crochet hook down because it comes through smoother, and then take that yarn to the bottom. And just take it slowly across, hook the yarn, pull it through, push that yarn back over the other side. So across the top, hook, through, push the yarn to the other side, across the top, hook, through, push it to the other side, across the top, hook, turn the hook down, through, and push it to the back. Halfway. So yarn at the back, hook at the front, hook the yarn, turn the needle down, turn the hook down, pull it through, push the yarn to the back. Across the front, hook the yarn, pull it through, take the yarn to the back. Hook across the front, take the yarn, pull it through, take the yarn to the back. How you doing? We're nearly there. You might already be there if you're doing a smaller size. Lucky you. Sorry if you're doing a bigger size, you've got more of the pain. So hook across the top, hook the yarn, pull it through, take the yarn to the back. Hook across the top, hook the yarn, pull the hook down and through, take the yarn to the back, hook across the top, grab the yarn, pull it through, take it to the back. How many we got now? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. 2 more for me. So we're going to hook across the front, yarn at the back, pull it through, take the yarn to the back. Whoops. Hook across the top, hook that yarn, pull it down and through and take it to the back. And that should be all of mine. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. That's right. So what I need to do now is I'll put those a bit further down so I don't lose them. But we have to do a crochet chain. And this is just a spare to keep those stitches really. It's not something we're going to use. So like I said before, if you aren't a crocheter, don't worry that it's not neat and even, because this isn't going to show on your work. It's going to be taken away. So just pinching that bottom loop on there, and then I'm just hooking it and going through like before. So hooking, pulling through, hooking, pulling through. Doesn't have to be an exact number. We just want to give ourselves a little bit of length on there so we can then just cut the rest of it off. So it's just a safety chain really. So just hooking and coming across. And I have no scissors. So when you feel you've done just a little chain there, just take scissors, give it a snip, take that rest off, and then just make a slightly bigger loop, hook it once more, bring it all the way through, and then just pull, and then that's secure there. So that is your provisional cast on. So we can take that waste yarn away, we don't need that anymore. So now we can bring in the yarn you're going to be using for your cardigan. So we go, first of all, going to do the setup row. So we need to purl 2 to start with. So just in that first stitch that you made on the provisional, just hook your yarn and just go through. So we're purling 2. And then we're going to knit to the end. Oop. Pull my yarn at the back for knit stitch to the end. And so you can see the provisional cast on at the bottom, and then you've got your first row of stitches on the top. So when we come back to it, we'll pull this off, and then we'll just have live stitches there that then we can stitch straight onto. So that is your setup row. The next row is just the knit row. So the first row is just knitting. This is the collar that we're knitting before we go on to the yoke. So that's why it's just going to be a bit of a skinny strip to start with. Don't panic, it's the wrong size. You'll be having plenty more stitches on your needles later on. So that is row 1, and then we go on to row 2, which is purl 2 and then knit till the end. So I'm just going to purl those front 2 stitches, purl 2. Sorry about the noise of the cable if you can hear it too much. There's not a lot I can do about that. So we're just purling across to the end after those, sorry, we're knitting across to the end after doing those 2 purl stitches. So those are your 2 rows that we will be repeating. So it says work rows 1 and 2 for a total number of, and then it's got the different times for what size you're doing. So I do recommend you highlight or somehow mark through the pattern your size, because there are a lot of sizes here. So I've got to do rows 1 and 2 a total of 62 times. So that means that this is going to be a total of 125 for me, because that's double. You're doubling the 62, if you see what I mean, because you're doing 2 rows. It's not just 62 rows. So we're going to do, I'll leave you with that so you can carry on with that for this week. That is your homework for this week. So you need to knit a row and then purl 2, knit to the end. I shall put that down below if you're confused looking at the pattern, just to clarify. But as I say, you need to, after the setup row in the collar section, I'll show you on the pattern actually. So here we are on where it says collar, and we've done the setup row, we've done 1 knit row and 1 purl row. So we need to work that, the number of stitches below that it says for your size. So as I say, that is your homework for this week. I shall be giving you another knitting tutorial next Friday. These tutorials will be coming out on the Friday when the next one is due, depending on how much there is to do. Obviously we've just got to do that this week, but when we get to the main body I may leave it a little bit longer, because obviously I've got to knit it to get to the next stage. So it won't be every week, it'll just be dependent on how much there is to do between, but they will always be on a Friday. So thank you for joining me. If you're not watching this in real time and you're joining us later, then there will be a playlist below, so you can have all the videos together, because I will put that all ready for you there. So as I say, thank you for joining me. If you've not subscribed, subscribe so you don't miss any of the videos. Thank you for liking. Thank you for just taking part, because without you taking part there'd be no point, and I get so much pleasure from doing this with you. So thank you so much for joining in, and I shall see you next time. Have a fantastic week and happy knitting. Bye for now.